The unofficial results of the special primary for the Alabama House District 1 congressional race are in. We will check in with the two candidates who are now headed for a runoff in November. A violent home invasion leads to a manhunt, but police come up empty-handed. Now authorities are asking for your help to find the suspects before they strike again. Fox 10 News at 4:30 a.m. starts right now.
You're watching Fox 10 News in high-definition television.
Good morning, and thanks for choosing Fox 10 News on this Wednesday morning. Today is September 25th. I'm Sarah Wall. Let's check in first now with meteorologist Michael White for a look at today's weather forecast after a wet day yesterday and a wet evening, too.
Yeah, we saw a lot of rain move through ahead of that front, and we still have some showers east of I-65. Places like Bruton and Atmore still dealing with a little rain, also south of Evergreen, but improving conditions are moving in. So even though the sky is starting off cloudy, we're going to see the sunshine by this afternoon and even a little dip in humidity.
Sounds good.
Yeah, not a bad change. Look at what we have currently on the board. Temperatures are very warm, mid to lower 70s, with the sky cloudy in both metro spots. And in Pensacola, it's feeling like the temperature is at 79 degrees. In Mobile, you're dealing with a north wind at the surface at 5, helping to usher in some drier, more stable air. But it is east of I-65 where the rain is currently located. Now, your stronger thunderstorms are out over the open waters of the Gulf. That is primarily where they should stay, but onshore we do have rain just to the south and east of Atmore, also around Bruton, crossing over to US 29, and we are seeing rain as well as in Kirkland and Castleberry and Brooklyn, and that will continue to push farther east outside of our viewing area during the course of the morning. So we're only going with a 1 in 5 chance for rain between now and about 10 o'clock this morning, and that will primarily be east and south of Interstate 65. Your temperature by 10 a.m. will be 81 degrees. Expect a northwest wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. We will end up with a sunnier day this afternoon. We'll talk more about that and your full forecast in 10 minutes. Sarah?
All right, Michael, thanks. It's now 4:32. The unofficial results in Alabama's 1st congressional district are in, and it looks like the Republican primary is heading for a runoff. With all precincts reporting, former two-year college chancellor Bradley Byrne received 35% of the votes to Dean Young's 23%. We caught up with Byrne and his supporters at a victory party at Ed's Seafood Shack on the Causeway. He gave us his thoughts on the upcoming runoff.
We'll go out there and do what we've been doing the last 3 months, which is going out and meeting voters one at a time or in small groups.
Many came out to support Dean Young at a victory party at Cottages on the Green in Foley. Supporters at the event included Orange Beach Mayor Tony Kennon and Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore. Young says he is ready to protect and preserve the values of voters.
I'm a businessman, and I've got several companies, and they have to live. I can't spend more than I take in, and so it's these basic principles that we have to live up to.
The runoff for the GOP District 1 congressional race is Tuesday, November 5th. Now let's take a look at the results of the Democratic runoff for the Alabama District 1 congressional seat. Burton LaFleur got 70% of the vote to challenger Lula Albert Kegler's 30%. LaFleur will face off against the winner of the Republican runoff in the general election, which is set for December 17th. Voters in Bayou La Batre have elected a new mayor. Brett Dungan received 55% of the votes in the runoff election, beating opponent Henry Barnes. We caught up with the mayor-elect, who says he is ready to tackle the issues affecting the town.
You know, the most important thing is that we haven't had effective leadership on the Gulf Restoration Act Council. So that is really the number one issue, and that's time sensitive. And, I think that's got to be the biggest priority for our community.
Mayor-elect Dungan will finish out the 3-year term remaining on former Bayou La Batre Mayor Stan Wright's term. In other news this morning, the Mobile City Council has passed a budget for the 2014 fiscal year. The council approved the budget by a 5-2 vote. It includes a 2.5% pay raise for city employees. 2 council members, Bess Rich and John Williams, voted against the budget plan. Williams says the measure did not get his vote because it will use capital funds, and he wanted the increase to go to retirees and not current city workers.
We must recognize as a priority retirees, those who have served our city proudly and for many years, with the hope of being given a decent quality of life.
Only one amendment was adopted to the proposed budget, and it had to do with Hank Aaron Stadium. The council approved additional funds to make improvements to the stadium. The Mobile County School Board is expected to vote on a proposed dress code for employees today. Teachers have packed public meetings to voice their opposition to the dress code and the changes. Some of the proposed changes include banning jeans or any color and capri pants. Teachers say instead of making changes, the school system should just enforce the current policy. We will let you know what is decided. It looks like the city of Pritchard is closer to hiring a new police chief. A source tells Fox 10 News a Blue Ribbon Committee has chosen 3 candidates for the position. The candidates are undergoing background checks right now, and we are told those will be complete by Friday or Saturday. After that, Mayor Troy Ephraim will choose one candidate and present his choice to the city council. The council will then vote to decide. We will continue to follow this, and we will let you know how it turns out. Police are looking for 2 suspects in a violent home invasion in Alberta. It happened yesterday morning at this home on Brighton Avenue. A woman was home alone when there was a knock on the door. Investigators say when she answered, she was confronted by 2 men wielding a shotgun.
One of them had a shotgun. He forced her to the floor. They started demanding to know where her purse was and her wallet was. Wanted to know if she had a home phone and her cell phone. And then they also demanded to know where her jewelry box and all that was.
Police say one man hit the woman several times with the shotgun while the other was ransacking the home. The victim was eventually able to get away and run for help. The 2 men took off before police arrived. Roads were shut down and a manhunt ensued, but police came up empty. If you know anything about this crime, please call Alberta Police. An investigation continues into a hit and run that left 1 man dead. Police say 27-year-old Darren Livingston of Summerdale was struck while walking along Highway 32 in Marlow late Monday night. He died at the scene. The driver took off. If you know anything about this case, you're asked to please call the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office. The Mobile man convicted of murdering a well-known realtor is expected to be sentenced today. Back in May, a jury found Carlos Kennedy guilty of the murder of Zoa White. They recommended he be put to death, but the judge has the final say. We will let you know what he decides. A Baldwin County judge may decide today whether to grant a former Spanish Fort High School football standout youth offender status. Dion Johnson is accused of raping 3 separate victims. If the request is granted, it would reduce his prison time if he's convicted. It would also seal Johnson's case and the charges. Johnson remains in jail this morning on no bond. A big health fair happening today in our area. Find out when and where you can get free health screenings up next. Also, it's nesting season for sea turtles along the Gulf Coast, and volunteers are combing the beach, making sure these creatures have a fair start at life. How you can help in the Share the Beach initiative is straight ahead.
You're watching Fox 10 News in high definition television.
And thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News on this Wednesday morning. It's now 4:40. I'm Sarah Wall. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius will give Americans an overview of how much health care premiums will be under President Obama's new health care law. Sebelius says some 53 plan options for Americans will finally make health insurance work within their budgets. Fox 10 News will break down the numbers for you online at fox10tv.com. Later this afternoon, we'll have more on Fox 10 News. A health fair is happening today in Mobile, and you are invited. It will begin at 9 this morning at Big Zion AME Zion Church on South Bayou Street. AseraCare will conduct screenings for blood pressure, blood glucose, diabetes, and cholesterol. There will also be other agencies there with information on dental care, foot care, vision care, and home health services. Activities run until noon. The end of the sea turtle nesting season is drawing near, and volunteers from across our area are making sure more turtles reach the Gulf. It's part of a program called Share the Beach. The initiative was created back in 2001 to help sea turtles, many of which have become endangered. Hundreds of volunteers have signed up to help scan the coast for the sea turtle nests and then monitor them. The volunteers say they're always looking for potential hazards.
Problems like trash, a lot of different types of litter, including plastic bags and artificial light. Turtles hatch at night, the baby turtles do, and they're attracted to white light. So if they hatch and the volunteers are not there, the baby turtles usually go the wrong way. We want to make sure that they make their way to the water. Usually we'll put a tarp up around the nest or dig a trench to make sure they get that.
Officials say about 80 nests can be found on the coast during the season. 60 to 80% of the turtles make it to the ocean, but only about 1 or 2 out of those, about 1,000, live to be adults. If you'd like to help, we have a link to Share the Beach initiative on our website, fox10tv.com. That is very cool. Michael White, how fun is that? How neat is that to see those little turtles as they make their way to the water?
Yeah, that is really cool. I like that. You know, as far as what we've seen out at the beaches, the surf has been extremely rough the last couple of days. We've seen high rip current risks, primarily because of the dominant southerly flow out there. But starting today, we're going to get a little bit of a change. We're going to see a north wind coming back. We're going to see calmer conditions, and we're going to see a much lower rain chance. But so far, we do have a few showers east of Interstate 65. Let's take a look at that right now on our storm tracker radar. Now, the thunderstorm activity is well out over the open waters of the Gulf, and it's tracking from west to east. It should stay primarily offshore, but onshore we do have some lighter showers. We're even seeing some new ones forming around Baldwin County near Foley, and they're all going to track from the west to the east, but the new ones that are forming are doing so east of Interstate 65. In Escambia County, Alabama, we still have a shower around Bruton and Kirkland, and also one just to the north of Roberts. Now, as we move in throughout the morning, we'll continue to see these isolated pockets of rain form east of Interstate 65. The chance of a shower showing up is about 1 out of 5. And then as we move in towards the afternoon, we're going to see the sky clearing and our weather pattern improving. Temperatures right now, mid to lower 70s, so still very muggy out there. And we have heat index values of 79 in both Evergreen and Pensacola. Our projected high today going to be 90. An isolated shower possible east of I-65 to start the day. Then we get clearing by midday. Very warm as we hit 3 o'clock with a high of 90 and a few additional clouds by 5. Now, the frontal boundary is near the Interstate 65 corridor, which is why the showers are going to fire off ahead of that front. Now, behind the front, the sky is mostly clear. That's what we're seeing from about Hattiesburg westward. So even though we're starting off cloudy and gloomy and those clouds are socked in, by the time we hit midday, we're going to have plenty of sun in the sky. Things are going to be looking a lot better, and we are looking to see fairly calm conditions for the rest of the week and even as we hit the weekend. And the added bonus is by the time we move into the weekend, temperatures will begin to decline. High this afternoon, 90 with gradual clearing. Expect a west wind at 4 to 8 miles an hour. Tonight we dip down to 70 degrees. Moisture tries to creep back on Friday, but odds of seeing a stray shower very, very low. Primarily Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are going to look good. Temperatures, you'll notice, are on the way down. We'll let you know if they continue in that trend as we hit Sunday and next week. I'll have that for you in your next weather segment coming up. Sarah?
All right, Michael, thanks. It's now 4:45. A Texas senator is speaking on the Senate floor right now. He has vowed to speak against the president's health care law until he is no longer able to stand. And with the world watching, President Obama addressed the UN Assembly, hitting topics around the globe. Find out what he had to say about Syria and Iran straight ahead. Right now on this Wednesday morning, thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News. I'm Sarah Wall. 17 hours and counting, Texas Senator Ted Cruz holds the Senate floor hostage, vowing to speak in opposition of Obamacare until he is no longer able to stand. Fox News correspondent Ainsley Earhart has more on his long and sometimes strange speech.
Speaking for more than half a day, Texas Senator Ted Cruz delivered a lengthy speech, urging his colleagues to support a House-passed bill that would avert a government shutdown and defund the health care law.
I rise today in opposition to Obamacare.
Senator Cruz began his marathon speech Tuesday afternoon by criticizing the 3-year-old legislation. But he also veered off on other topics, including the Revolutionary War, the Washington ruling class, and even reciting Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham.
Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I Am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
Utah Senator Mike Lee seemed to serve as Senator Cruz's tag team partner as he and his counterpart took turns at the podium.
Congress has adopted a law that has brought about a series of nightmares for the American people.
The night wasn't without its humorous moments, as Senator Cruz quoted from A&E's hit reality show Duck Dynasty.
Jay said, redneck rule number 1. Most things can be fixed with duct tape and extension cords. That's actually very true.
And even mentioned how most senators were sleeping while he was up late last night speaking.
I'm going to venture to say most members of the United States Senate are home in bed asleep. If we were listening to the people, we wouldn't be home asleep.
Despite his efforts, Cruz's marathon speech was just an exercise in endurance because Republicans lack the votes to stop Democrats from moving ahead with a measure to strip the health care provision from a spending bill and send it back to the House. In New York, Ainsley Earhart, Fox News.
President Obama is back in Washington, D.C. this morning, one day after addressing the UN General Assembly. The president touched on a number of the world's pressing problems, among them the diplomatic wrangling over securing Syria's chemical weapons stockpiles and relations between Iran and the U.S. President Obama says it is imperative that the UN Security Council resolution mandating consequence if the Syrian government does not go forward with plans to destroy its chemical weapons.
If we succeed, it will send a powerful message that the use of chemical weapons has no place in the 21st century, and that this body means what it says.
On the subject of Iran, the president says he's encouraged by the new Iranian president taking a more moderate course. He has ordered Secretary of State John Kerry to pursue a nuclear agreement with Iran despite decades of mistrust between the two nations. There are conflicting reports this morning in the Kenya terror crisis. Kenya's president says troops have defeated al-Qaeda-linked terrorists who attacked a shopping mall in Nairobi. But security officials say some attackers with weapons and booby traps might still be inside. Officials say the militants attacked the mall on Saturday, killing at least 61 civilians. But authorities are preparing to recover dozens more victims in a building where 3 floors have collapsed. Families who lost loved ones to violent crimes gathered to lean on each other for support. A celebration of life event was held last night at Cooper Riverside Park in downtown Mobile. One by one, families placed photos of loved ones lost to violence on a wall of remembrance. Then they gathered to pray and share stories in hopes of keeping their memories alive. This is the second year for this vigil. Families say they hope to make this a tradition in our area. It's now 4:51 on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News, and we'll be right back. 4:53 is our time right now on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News. I'm Sarah Wall. A job fair is happening today in Pensacola. Offshore Inland is hiring for multiple positions in the Gulf Coast region. Available openings include pipe fitters, pipe welders, structural welders, superintendents, and foremen. If you're interested, you can apply in person today from 9 until 3 at Workforce Escarosa, Pensacola, the one-stop center on L Street. Representatives from Offshore Inland will be on hand to review applications and conduct interviews with qualified candidates.
And as we look live at our Fox 10 Storm Tracker radar, heavier rain, strong thunderstorms offshore, but that is going to stay offshore and not move towards Pensacola or Destin, which is good. We do have just light, spotty rain around Bruton and in the southern tier of Baldwin County. Around Escambia County, Alabama, the showers are weakening, but any rain that does show up this morning will do so between now and 10 a.m. and will do so east of Interstate 65. We're seeing the same trend in southern Baldwin County. A few showers showing up near Summerdale, Foley, Mifflin dealing with a little moderate rain, but that's going to be about it. By 10 o'clock this morning, we'll start to see the sky clearing, our humidity dipping, and the weather pattern turning much drier. Temperatures on the board right now, 70 in Mobile, Pascagoula at 71. Brooklyn, you're sitting at 73 degrees. We have a pair of 75s in Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach, but humidity is very high. On the eastern side of the viewing area, it's already feeling like 79 in spots, but with lower humidity on the way soon, heat index values will not end up being an issue. Winds at the surface calm in many locations, but we do have a light north wind showing up between 3 to 6 miles an hour around Mobile, Brooklyn, and Evergreen. Now, we saw the front begin to move through the area yesterday. Right now, it is situated around the Interstate 65 corridor, which is the main reason that anyone east of that line is going to see the chance of rain this morning. The odds of a shower, 20%. Behind the front, the sky is clear, humidity is lower, and we're going to see that slowly work its way throughout the course of the day. And the Futurecast model plays that up pretty good as we run the clock forward from 6 a.m. this morning to 6 a.m. tomorrow. We have the frontal boundary around Interstate 65, a few spotty showers ahead of that. We run the clock forward, stop at 11 a.m. And how about that? Sky ends up completely clear. We get a huge supply of sunshine. Humidity will decline. We'll have a few additional clouds rolling back in this afternoon and this evening, but we will stay rain-free once we see the sky begin to clear by mid-morning today. High temperature 90 with a west wind at 4 to 8 miles an hour. We will see humidity falling throughout the day. Now tonight the sky will be partly cloudy. Lows will fall between about 68 and 72 depending on where you live. Winds will be out of the northwest at 4 to 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow looks to be gorgeous. The sky's sunny, but temperatures a little warmer. Highs will reach 91. Friday moisture tries to creep back, but it's going to be very hard to find a shower on radar, but we're still throwing in a 1 in 10 possibility, but I certainly wouldn't worry about high school football games. The weekend itself, fantastic. The sky's sunny, but look at the trend with the temperatures. They begin to fall. Highs end up back in the mid-80s as we head in towards the end of the weekend and into next week. And look at those overnight lows, falling from 70 tonight all the way down to 63 on Monday night. We will talk more about that good-looking forecast in our next hour. And Eric and Sarah, they start Fox 10 News at 5 a.m. after the break.